right, I would like to call the January 13th, 2022 meeting to order. As this is the organizational meeting for the board, it is my honor to serve as the convener of the meeting until a chairman is selected. If I could ask Mr. Long for the invocation.
Let's give thanks. Almighty merciful Father, give you thanks for this day. Thank for letting us see a new year. We ask that you allow us to carry this meeting out for the advancement of Northumberland County and its citizens. And let us work hard to pass things that's right and good for all. Through your name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Everyone, please stand. Join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation, indivisible, with liberty. All right, the first order of business is that of the election of chairman. At this time, I would ask for any nominations.
Nomination open.
Yes, sir.
I nominate Richard Haney.
Have any other nominations? If not, I'll close the nominations and ask for all those in favor of Mr. Haney, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain. You abstain. Motion carries. Mr. Haney, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, well, thank all the board members for putting a little bit of faith into me again. All right. Now we need all right, next item would be the election of vice chair. Any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Ronnie this year, vice chair.
All right, any other nominations? If not, I'll close the nominations, and all those in favor of Mr. Jett being vice chair, say aye. Aye.
Abstain.
All right. Got that, Mr. Tadlock?
Yes, sir.
Now, next item on the agenda is the approval of the bylaws, and I hope everybody's had a chance to read them. Do you have any changes or deletions to the bylaws or anything? Any board member have anything? Mr. Tadlock, did you have any changes to the bylaws?
I don't. The change that we did November, December of last year, I guess it was December, has been included in this set of bylaws.
Okay.
I move for approval of adoption of bylaws.
All right, I got a motion. I got a second.
Second.
All right, I got a motion, a second for the approval of the adoption of bylaws. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Next item is the schedule of the Board of Supervisors meeting dates. And has everybody had a chance to review those meeting dates? And do we have any conflicts on any of those days that we know of right now? All right,
I move for approval of the supervisor's meeting date.
all right, do I have a second?
No, second.
All right. I got a motion and a second to approve the Board of Supervisors meeting dates. Everyone in favor, say aye. Aye. Next item would be the 2022 holidays for county offices. Everyone had a chance to review those dates.
I move for approval.
All right, we have a motion. Can I get a second?
No, second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the holiday schedule for county offices. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Next item would be the approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I do have, Virginia Department of Transportation has changed, their protocols and will not be in attendance tonight.
All right. All right, anyone else have any changes to the agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve the agenda with, VDOT not being here tonight?
So moved. Second.
All right, motion and a second. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, we have approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes, November the 23rd, 2021, and December the 21st, 2021. I hope everyone's had a chance to review those minutes. Any changes or deletions to those minutes? If not, can I have a motion to approve them?
So moved. Second.
All right, I got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, that's all. Now we're on our presentation. All right, next item is Mr. Paul Lee, our auditor from Robinson, Farmer and Cox. Mr. Lee, glad to have you here today.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here with you today. That's really enjoyed the cooperation. We got, Sheriff's Office, Social Services, Treasurer's Office, School Board, everybody, pitched in, helped us. That was good. We got it all done. Everything's been prepared. Everything's been submitted. So that we're in good position right now at the end of the year, or at least in January. I would say that the county achieved an unqualified opinion again this year on the overall financial statements. No internal control issues that had to be reported in the report, and no compliance issues for federal programs. This year, with the CARES Act, that was the gigantic federal program that we had to audit, but we also had to audit school food as well. So that CARES Act was new. But with no problems there. The unassigned fund balance at the end of the year was right at 9 million, about 8.97 million. I'm thinking that's probably about 25% of your total expenditure, so you're in good financial condition at the end of the year. And the fund balance does not include unspent CARES Act money or the ARPA money that's coming up for this year, or has been received for this year. Both of those items end up showing up as a liability on the accounts rather than actually in the fund balance. They're different than most of the federal grants you get, because most are a reimbursement basis. These are not. You got them in advance, so they're not recognized as revenue until they're actually spent. Tax collection percentage is still, this year was the highest of 10 years at 101%. And really, I've got a schedule in the back of the audit report. If you go back and look at it, for 10 years, it's ranged from 99.4% to 101%. And that's, if you take the current tax collections and add the delinquents to them and compare that to the original levy, you're getting that amount of tax collection on an annual basis. So you really need to know that when you're doing the budget. As I said, the federal expenditures were up this year about $5 million worth of federal expenditures, as opposed to 2.4 million a year ago. So with the ARPA money this year, you'll still see that kind of, you might see it level off a little bit, but it won't go down to the normal levels, I think, for another year or so. That's really what I wanted to present to you tonight, other than I had 2 or 3 management comments. One on the public hearing for the school budget, not the one that you guys put on, but when the schools actually do a planning public hearing during the year, we couldn't find evidence that that had been published. And so we just want to make sure when they hold that public hearing that they maintain the publisher's certificate that shows that it was published 10 days in advance of the hearing itself. We continue to recommend that they turn some of the cafeteria cash back over to the general operating account. The revenues that come in actually on the lunch fees have gone into this account for a number of years, and there's no reimbursement back over to the operating account for the expenditures that are made. And the operating account has plenty of money, but we don't need that money sitting in a cafeteria account, just accruing a little bit of interest plus whatever fees come in from year to year. That was the third thing. And the last, there's a couple little small funds, the forfeited asset fund, and I think the courthouse security fund. We just would like to see them, before they spend the money, those two departments actually come before you to get an appropriation. Generally no local money involved in those at all. But the board still needs to appropriate those before they're spending. That was all I wanted to present to you tonight, other than take any questions you may have.
Any board members got any questions for Mr. Lee?
Just one thing to say, there is a bill in the General Assembly which would address the issue about the school board as far as advertising. The bill as proposed would be if it is sent to the publisher and it's exactly right and they don't publish it, it would still meet legal
Very
requirements.
good. It's an antiquated law.
Yeah.
But it's just a compliance issue that you have
Yeah.
to.
So I saw that, and Margaret Ransom is the one who actually filed it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I think we can all know why.
Mhm.
One other thing I would like to point out, last year, in following up on last year's comments, we had mentioned there were some outstanding checks in the main operating account that were over a year old. They've been taken care of. We didn't repeat with that comment this year.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tadlock, do you have any questions for Mr. Lee?
I do, and I appreciate your help and questions that I had earlier. I appreciate your response on it.
All right. Okay. No one has any more questions for Mr. Lee? Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, coming in today.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our next item is Ms. Ellen Kirby. She's our treasurer here. Ms. Kirby?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to let you all know that the tax collection for 2021 went very smoothly. We have collected 94.75% of the tax already, and it's a little more than it was at this time last year for the 2020 collection. To date, we have collected 98.5% of the 2020. So, Thomas, our commissioner, here this evening. I understand from Mr. Tadlock that you all are discussing twice-a-year billing. And
Hey, Ms. Kirby, could you come up to the microphone? Because anybody listening online is not going to be able to.
so I understand the board is wanting to discuss twice-a-year billing. And I have been contacting other localities that are currently doing that, and I'm gathering information. The more I learn, the more overwhelming it becomes and more complicated. But did you have any specific questions this evening?
How much complication is it going to make for your office if there is twice-a-year billing?
Well, it's a lot more work. It starts in the commissioner's office. and Todd may have comments also.
Yes.
Todd does the assessments. He would have to get all of the new construction done much earlier. Of course, the board would have to approve the budget and the tax rate probably no later than April 1st going forward. It's a lot more involved than I had originally thought. There's a lot of programming involved, changes of tax forms. And the way we have done our tax billing for at least 5 decades, since I've been here anyway, and I think my
You
predecessors.
telling your age now?
Hush, Tommy.
Hey, Tom,
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Indeed. We have always put the personal property and the real estate together in one envelope. And so that cuts down on postage. And I, back in the 80s, started to put the real estate parcels owned by the same individual on one tax bill. So we got, well, currently it would be 19,000 parcels down to about 12,000 bills. So that saves on the printing, the extra paper, postage, and it makes it easier for the taxpayer not to get a lot of separate bills. And it's easier when it comes back in to post the payments and so on. And so it looks like with twice a year billing, we won't have the time up until September, say, to pull out any of the parcels that have been transferred to a new owner. So I'm thinking that we're going to have to go back to a single bill per parcel, because otherwise I've got a bill that needs to go to 2 different people, and we can't do that. And similarly, I've got probably about 200 parcels that I send to multiple owners, families that want, each sibling wants a copy of the bill. So I do those separately. And I don't see that we're going to be able to do that. So it's a lot of little things that we have been treating the taxpayers with loving kindness and care that will probably have to just go straight automated. And those are some of the considerations. I know Todd has some concerns also. We are looking into how we would be able to do this. And if the board wishes to go forward with this, the earliest I think we could do this would be next year, 2023. There's a lot of notification, education. The taxpayers would have to be notified well in advance that this is going to happen. Clearly, there are a few advantages. For the one fiscal year, you'd have about $8.5 million extra in that budget year windfall for real estate taxes. And so it would be nice to build up our capital reserve. A number of years ago, we thought we were doing great things by paying cash for the new sheriff's office, and it depleted our reserves and cost us all sorts of trouble with the auditor of public accounts, saying that we couldn't pay our bills on time, and it downgraded our Moody's credit rating. And so there's an opportunity there to build that up and possibly get our rating back up, and then also fund some capital expenses that are coming down the line. So the other opportunity is to change the due dates. And it would be really nice to change the December 5th due date to a November 15th, November 20, something like that. Because the greatest comments that I hear in the office that we get when we collect the taxes is that we're being Grinches and Scrooges, and it's right before Christmas, and so I realize that November is before Christmas also, but it's at least a month ahead. So I would heartily encourage that, regardless of whether you went to twice a year billing or not, that would be, I think, a bonus for all the taxpayers. So.
How early can you, assume we do continue once a year, how early can you do the sending out the bills by code?
By code, we have to allow 2 weeks.
Okay.
But that really is, in my opinion, very unfair to the taxpayer.
Right, yeah, I'm not
even
worried
though
about
that they
that, yeah.
know that it's due, excuse me.
You usually get them a month ahead of time.
So
Yeah.
a month is about as much as we could stretch it. This year, we were able to get the bills out the second week of October, and it really made it a much more conducive flow for tax collections and for people paying. We didn't have the stress at the end of October whether or not we'd be able to meet payroll because we had the tax revenue coming in early enough to have enough in the account to cover that. So,
Can a citizen pay ahead on their taxes?
yes, sir. We have an ACH program, and a number of people take advantage of that. So their taxes are prepaid. And when we print the bill, all of their itemized payments show up on the bill. And if the taxpayer did not want to do it by ACH, we're always happy to take the payment at the counter.
Is that advertised? Where is that advertised so people can see that?
I do not think that it is advertised, but I would like to set up a page on the county website for the treasurer's office, and we could put all that kind of information
And
out there.
that's what I was getting with the taxes. What I was getting a lot was, it's hard to pay these taxes right at Christmas and before Christmas. So I was pushing the twice a year. I am fine and okay if there's a program in place, a method in place, and it's advertised very well for citizens to pay ahead, and it's on them whether or not they want to do that. And I fully support moving the taxes to November instead of December. I don't know what the rest of the board wants, but I know that would.
Earlier would be better.
Earlier would help. My
help
concern
everybody.
is, I hate to see us having to raise taxes solely for the purposes of cash flow. And having it earlier, if that helps prevent having to borrow money, I'd rather borrow money than raise taxes just to get cash flow. A little bit of change, but rather have money in the people's pockets than their pockets. I mean, we need a certain reserve, but not to the nth degree. So if, like Jimmy says, if moving it back to the 15th, or ahead, whichever you want to say it, if that helps cash flow and certainly helps people with the Grinch issue, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm sure quite a few of the citizens in this county that I've run across knew that you could pay ahead. Because I've been doing it for years.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised that some people didn't know that. But it's been passed. Would this require more help in your office?
If we went to twice a year billing,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yes.
Right,
Yes.
right,
And
that's
I
what
think Todd would
Uh-huh.
also need some help
Right.
to get straight. I mean, it all starts with his office. I can't do a bill unless Todd has done the assessment, so.
Todd, the land book is based upon December the 31st. If you went twice a year billing, you wouldn't have two land books, I assume.
No, you only have one. It's up to the option if they split the bill and have one bill.
Right.
You find out.
All right,
There's a lot of problems to, all transfers have to be done.
yeah,
Right transfers are not too bad, the splits and new divisions and things like that,
Yeah.
and all the new construction. You're checking in and ref, bulkheading, some new houses, you had
Yeah.
issues and sheds, the whole 9 yards, and, get that on the books, go in the field and then get it on the books. By April, it's tough, because we got ratio studies for the state of Virginia and all those things that have to be done in that time frame, the state income tax. And all that, that's all right there in that moment, and then budget, electrical.
Right.
So a lot goes on in that time frame that, it just doesn't come from the clerk's office over there, we have to do the data entry and make sure it's right, make sure it's spelling right, actually, because we proofread something very seldom ever done, but I see a picture and you're talking all that. So, so I'm just saying that I think that we've taken better, with your suggestion, and his suggestion, as long as we get them out earlier, and I don't think that'd be a problem. And make the due date, November 20th, 15th, or whatever. Because see, we got tax relief for the health program, we've got veterans tax relief program, all those things will do that May 1st. And see, we have to move all that if we did, the twice a year.
And quite a few citizens know about those programs too.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Because we're fast to work.
And
Now,
that's when they're told that they can make those payments. A lot of those individuals are told when they call that they can turn around and make payments during the year.
yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's up to us too. The board to tell your citizens.
would it help you to be able to get the bills out earlier than November, say October, or?
Well, if you did it
Is
the
that better
15th, you'd
for
have to
you?
back it up a little bit.
Right, we would have to get
Or
them out
whatever,
earlier,
you know?
yeah. So we'd have to have our cutoff a little bit earlier, but we could do it.
Yeah, I'm just want to know what would be easier for your department. Yeah. Anybody else got any questions?
I want it easy on the taxpayers too.
Yeah, that's right, taxpayer too.
It's due, normally due on the 5th
Yeah.
of December.
5th of December, yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna do it the 5th of November, and they can send the bills out early, like they have been
Yeah,
doing.
you could get the invoices out early, the bills out earlier, and get it on the website that the citizens can pay once a month, whatever they want, right on there,
Quarterly.
right on their bills, quarterly, whatever, and they can do a bank draft or credit card or whatever.
I'm happy to go speak to groups,
That's what
at this
I do.
point, I don't know whether people are meeting,
Not much.
but, yeah, we can do a publicity campaign
Yeah,
for, we
most
would
of-
have to for the change in the due date, certainly.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to run an ad in the paper?
Mhm.
Well, try not to do an ad, just have a news story.
Well,
Hey,
well,
you have some
hold it,
news
Tom,
for
let me
change.
finish, please.
Yeah.
An ad in the paper, have
Spend money we
flowers,
don't have to.
flowers to go out to churches.
Was that Tom?
Don't spend money we don't have.
All those things that, where you can really tap into a lot of people.
Yeah, church flyers are
Church
an
flyers.
excellent idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Kirby?
I got a question, it's in, not what we're talking about, when your DMV select will open up?
With God's help and the creek don't rise, Tuesday.
Okay,
May
Next Tuesday.
18th. Yes.
That will be.
Yeah,
Very
we've
nice.
had some health issues in the
yeah,
office.
well, we all know that.
Yeah, so, but yeah,
Would that be
So-
every day, daily, so special days?
we're, looking at, Monday through Thursday, and see how that goes. Hopefully, we have tried all sorts of, combinations and appointments and walk-ins and whatever. with the full-service DMV in Tappahannock and Kilmarnock open for walk-in traffic Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning in Tappahannock, I think that will take some pressure off the Heathville office. So we're going to try just opening it up and without appointment and see how it goes. And if it's, you know, a reasonable flow, then I think we can start adding back hours and days. So,
Do you do title changes?
Yep.
yeah,
There also?
we can do anything basically with a vehicle, vehicle related. We cannot do driver's licenses or ID cards or anything along
Okay.
those lines.
Or testing, that's.
Yeah, yeah,
Testing, okay,
or, you know, with the IDs,
yes.
yeah,
Okay.
so,
And they save citizens $5 a visit. If you did that same thing at a DMV office, customer service is $5.
Yeah.
so,
Nice.
Yes, it is.
so it's a wonderful service
Yes,
to
it
be
It
able to
is,
provide.
it's
yeah,
so helpful to be able to go right here and get your stuff done.
yeah.
And it's just great to be able to do it right there.
I know, people from Northern Virginia and Southwest Virginia and the other side of Richmond discovered us,
Yeah.
and they thought we were great too.
Yeah. Truck
That's
drivers that needed various payments, they couldn't put stuff on the road because of DMV being closed. But y'all were open, and that's why you got bombarded.
Yeah, hopefully DMV hours will get back to a normal routine and things will get back.
Well, I know the General Assembly is talking to them very hard about it. I think it was a bill act that passed, they've got to open up.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you
Your
for all your
kindness.
support,
Thank you.
and
You too, Todd.
we appreciate your.
And again, it wasn't anything to put pressure on yourself. Just my personal reason was I didn't want to have to raise taxes just to have a cash flow. It was nothing on either one of your offices. I just hate to raise taxes or have the possibility, hey, we need more money just to make it over. I'd rather borrow the money for the short term. But since you gave an example by coming a little bit sooner, you help with the cash flow as far as that does what we need, at least what I need.
Okay.
That'd be
Excellent.
fine.
Well, thank you all.
All right.
I have my collection report that I will let roll pass to you.
And congratulations on 101%.
All right, well, thank you very much, and make sure that you thank all your staff in
Yeah.
your office.
You too,
And,
Todd.
Mr.
Thank you.
Thomas, you do the same
Yeah.
thing. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Both of y'all are very fortunate.
You're right. Very kind people.
And and a lot of them stay a long time with you too, both of you.
Yep.
That
So
says
what are
something
we
by
gonna-
itself.
What are we gonna decide if we're gonna change the date?
We don't have to do that right now, but I think, Miss,
I think it needs to be done by
Yeah.
by when?
by Wednesday,
Yeah.
so it would have to be advertised.
All right. I move that we propose an ordinance. What date would be best for yourselves?
We talked, Bill, we talked 15, 20, that was good. 2 times.
Well, we can propose,
How about we discuss it with Buckle and next month should be given.
okay, if it's sufficient time, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
So that would then be March before we could take any action.
Is that okay? With March?
Somewhere between the 5th and 15th.
All right, I make a motion that we change the date to November the 5th. If that becomes a problem, then we can back it this way. We can't go too far the other way. So November the 5th and public hearing, and then y'all can decide then.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
But y'all can discuss and figure which day works better.
And Ms. Kirby, you advertise a little more than pay ahead.
I certainly will.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody ask me, I'm telling you, you can pay anytime you
I just
want.
need clarification on something. Just Just wanted to check, you want this advertised for the February meeting? Okay.
All right. Mr. Tadlock, you said that VDOT was not coming
That's correct. Yes, sir.
and they're not going to be online or anything?
No, sir.
All right, so we'll skip over that. And next item is Sheriff Beecham. Glad to see you here tonight, Mr. Beecham.
Good to see you all. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. There's no report on the radio committee, of course. They're still working on the report. But what I'm here for tonight is if the board will recall the proposal we did for our new records management system. We talked about data conversion. And at that time, the new company and the existing company hadn't got together. Well, they've done that and they figured out a price for data conversion. And I think you should have this in front of you, but I'll read it so the public can hear it. There were three things we talked about during the proposal. One was records management, which is the bulk of our data, names, vehicle information, things like that. The second one was CAD information, so CAD calls that the dispatchers put in. And the third was civil process, all the paper from court, weapons permits, things like that. What we are proposing is the first two. And in front of you, so records management, the bulk of our data, it would be $19,440 to convert that. CAD, and it said if we want, and we do want that, that will bring over our existing CAD calls. That is $13,500. And we're not going to move forward with converting civil. We should be able to come to the courthouse and figure out who served what, when, to who by the court record. So that's a total of $32,940. And there will be, if the board approves this, it will be a separate contract from our existing one.
Once your contract is up with someone, you won't have access to any of your records
That's correct. That is my understanding.
You got money to take care of that?
I believe y'all have money to take care of that. It should be able, I know they offer money. I believe we can use that since it's dealing with the 911 CAD and stuff like that.
That is what we pulled the original CAD system under. Was
Okay.
the ARPA funds.
All right, any other board member have any questions for Sheriff Beecham?
So move that
You want a motion? All right, what's your motion?
we, so move that we move forward with this
All
contract.
right,
that.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Mr. Tadlock, you need anything else on that?
I don't believe so, not at this time.
All right,
And that would be for ARPA monies, right?
Correct. Yeah.
We'll make sure.
We'll double check on that, but I don't see why it shouldn't be. If there's an issue, we can.
there you go, there you go, Sheriff Beecham.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, sir.
Have fun with data.
And we have the Northumberland County School Report. Has everybody reviewed that? Any comments or questions? If not, I will move on to the County Administrator Report.
For the month of December 2021, we had 7 new structures. Total construction cost for the month was right around $4 million. Total construction cost year to date, $54.8 million, which puts us up approximately $25 million above this time last year. And as we do every year, Stuart McKenzie will provide a end of the year report at the February board meeting. Need to get the board to reappoint Mr. John Hendrickson to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and he is willing to serve.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
To the Northern Neck Plain District Commission, if Mr. Long and Mr. Haney are still willing to serve on that, need to reappoint them.
So moved.
I guess I'm willing to serve. Mr. Long, you willing to serve?
Yeah, we got a meeting on the 24th.
Yes, that's right.
Good.
All right, that's motions. Do we get a second?
I second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. I abstain. Mr. Long, you abstain?
Yes.
All right.
Next item I have is Mr. Shirley has asked to be taken off the planning commission. He and his wife have moved out of the area. So we would need an appointment for, I believe that's District 2.
It's District 2, yes.
And we also need an appointment for the Economic Development Commission for District 4. Next item I had, we had discussed earlier, and Chief Packett had obtained an estimate for the ambulance on the second ambulance. And we are looking at, we could use either the ARPA funds or we do have the EMS billing monies. And that amount was $212,686.
Board members got any questions on that?
Yeah. This is the replacer unit, right?
Right now, we have 3 units, the 2 Ford units, and then the Chevrolet unit that we got from Northumberland. And this will be the second new unit. If y'all would like for us to sell something, I mean, that's.
No, my only concern was, I'd like for you to stick with the, I don't see where you have your power load system in here, or your power load stretcher. And I just want to make sure if we get a medic unit, we get the power load system in the stretcher.
The power load system is in the specs.
Okay,
That's about, I can send them to y'all if you want. I think it's
okay.
about 20, 30 pages.
You're not gonna buy any new ambulance in Virginia with it.
Yeah, we
Right,
sent
I
that to
just-
everybody.
I just wanted to make sure that was in there.
And there's a spare power cot that they bought from the phone.
Okay,
It's the same specs that we sent when y'all voted on the first one. I'll pull them out.
And the one from Northumberland can't use.
Okay.
For the power load.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure it was in there, because that's a backside. Oh, yeah. That's all I got.
And I can give you one good reason why we need to consider it. The Northumberland Rescue Squad was asked to back up, dual tone. And unfortunately, while the medic crew was responding, kerplunk. And when you're responding to a call and you see your county unit sitting on the side of the road, it's not a pretty picture. Patient was taken care of, that wasn't an issue. But they are having trouble with one of the existing units right now, and it's still in the shop, right?
Yes, sir. It's at Bill Tally Ford.
Major problem?
It seems like that, but they have not given us a definite answer.
It's a major problem because it's unknown. And it's not the
That's
first
always a
time,
major problem.
and it's not the first time, unfortunately, it's happened.
Only thing I've been told is the fuel system.
Any time frame on coming back?
No, sir.
All right, we'll keep us informed on that. No one has any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, just one quick item. That is through HGAC by
Yes,
procurement site.
yes, we can get the AEV through the HGAC.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure the board knew that it was
Yeah.
already through
Right.
a procurement process.
They give you a turnaround time?
So I got an update. The first unit, and both of them are in the system for production. They have asked us to come out around the middle of February to do a mid-build inspection on the first one. And they said this one, if y'all approve, it'll be 2 weeks behind it.
And given all the problem with chips and everything, get them while you can.
Well, you got to, because it's starting to be a problem.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Packett?
I move that we approve this purchase as stated in the contract and using billing monies primarily or depends on how it works out best for the budget there. Preferably billing monies, since depending upon the fund balance we have.
All right, I have a second.
Second.
All right, A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
There you go, Mr. Baggett. Had like you need anything else on it?
That's all I need at this time.
All right.
There was information in your packet for special appropriations on the school, but I'm following up on some information on that so we can do that at the next month's meeting. 2022 projects, of course, we have the capital improvement plan that we'll be working on. The due date for those items from the departments is due January 19th. Of course, we're continuing to work on broadband, the old EBB building. We have secured the engineer architect for the roof. We're getting underway with that. We do have the old sheriff's office building, sanitary district upgrades are underway. Evaluation of other buildings and facility needs. We did have the company on board engineering come out this week, and they conducted the survey for this building and the old courts building on the HVAC. So they are compiling that information, and I'd like to thank Curtis Albright for taking that group around and showing them everything. Of course, we have the emergency radio system, next generation 911, comprehensive plan, 5-year review, financial and operation software upgrade, and of course, as always, General Assembly various bills that we'll be looking at. I did want to make the board aware that we've been working with the Planning District Commission on the Community Development Block Grant for the Calio Revitalization Project. And we did request an extension to some of the monies in that project, facade money. This was approved with a condition that by March 15th, 2022, the county must have executed commitments for the couple of properties that we have remaining. And if we do get those contracts executed, then we have till June 15th, 2022 to use those monies. So we have obtained an extension on that, but we've got some work ahead of us to do. The bids for the vac truck were due January 10th. We did receive one bid, and that was in the amount of $132,164. The board did authorize up to $125,000 last year. We did receive a second bid actually in the mail today, but that was after the fact. And even though it was $118,201, which was cheaper than the bid that we did receive, I did speak to Mr. Willard right before the meeting, just a quick review. It appeared that some of the specs were not within parameters. I believe it was a CDL license would be required for the vehicle that they were proposing. So you do have a copy of the one bid that we do have, the $132,164. And Mr. Willard did check, and the chassis will probably not be available until sometime in June, and would not receive the whole unit until around sometime in August, if we move forward with it.
Mike, can you, excuse me, Mr. Tadlock, can you forward that bid to everybody? Sometime? Just
Sure,
so,
we can do that.
yeah, just so everyone has it. That's all.
I thought I had uploaded. I apologize.
No.
We'll get that to you. All right, just a couple other items, convenience center passes. I have reached out to find out more information. As soon as I get that information, I'll get that to the board. The IT assistant, I want to give the board an update that we have hired Matthew Bailey as the IT assistant. Who? Matthew Bailey. I don't need any additional action by the board. The board did take action earlier to make that a full-time position, so I should have everything I need. redistricting, Stuart McKenzie and I are continuing to work with the redistricting committee. We need to set up some more meetings with the redistricting committee, and we'll try to do that for this month.
Any idea of a completion timeline, assuming there's no more, hitches or anything?
I'm hoping another 1 or 2 meetings will hopefully wrap up any concerns that the redistricting committee may have. So I'm hoping maybe in February timeframe. But we do need to, at the last meeting that we had with the redistricting committee, they had asked for some modifications, and Stuart McKenzie and I were going to look at those modifications and see what other options we may have.
So potentially be no adoption until like March then,
Potentially
unless we
March,
have a special meeting.
unless you have a special meeting, but I would say March at this point.
I saw where Richmond's not gonna have their proposed final adoption until April. And we're not alone. And they're bigger fish than we are.
Mr. Taylor, could you get those, notices out in time where we can make sure that the people in the area, get some dates out where they can keep those for the meeting?
The redistricting
Right.
will be advertised for public hearing too. So.
Okay, make sure we get the information out to the committee too. Okay.
Yes, sir. Last item I have, the board has been asking about economic incentives, and I have been working with Jim Blue, the Economic Development Director, and trying to figure out some local incentives the board could do at this time. There are several regional state initiatives one can participate in, but it's challenging to determine some of the local incentives that we can do as far as bringing new businesses in. But we are still evaluating those, trying to figure out some options that we could come up with.
Now, count that location is in the enterprise zone.
I believe so, that that particular building is.
So if they got sufficient employees, they qualify for that.
And that is something that Mr. Blue had talked to Jerry Davis at the Planning District Commission, and is willing to help out in applications or anything like
Because
that.
if we don't have Cali on economic in the enterprise zone, then we need to add them if we're not.
No, I believe that's actually.
Yeah, I think they are in there.
That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
All right, excuse me. Do you have any update on Atlantic Broadband, either you or Mr. Gregory?
No, we have been communicating. We have looked up other localities, but we need to get together with everything at the beginning of the year here. We have not gotten a chance to get together on that, but we will do so.
And remember, they've changed their breeze line now.
Breeze line, yeah.
Yeah, they
Your
blow,
name.
they blow a lot of breezes too.
That's what we changed the name.
It's called hot air too. I got a big message from somebody this morning about some challenges from Atlantic/Breeze line.
Yeah, I think we got some emails too. Yeah. I was at a meeting last night and I got an earful on Atlantic Broadband. Both ears full.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna say one. All right, Mr. Tadlock, if you don't have anything else, we'll go to our Board of Supervisor comment period. Any supervisor have any comments?
Yes, I'm concerned about the COVID testing. I reached out to the, Ms. Betty, and I reached out to the superintendent. Lancaster County Middle School has tested every Saturday from 10 to 1. And I believe we had several testing here in Northumberland, but we didn't have it on the radio, and we didn't have the anything going out to the churches. A lot of people didn't even know about it. So, they're gonna work on that again. And hopefully, Mr. Packard, you can help them out on that, all right? Because quite a few people would like to get tested, but they need to know the location and you need to know the time. Likes to come on the radio every morning. From 10 to 1, likes to middle school. Saturday. On Saturday. So, we need to get that out to our citizens. And I know the school's gonna work on it, setting up, and the county needs to help as much as they can. Because, between, Northumberland and Westmoreland, we had the highest number of deaths from this. And all counties of well over 1,000 people didn't know of have had it. So we need to do our job to make sure that we try to protect our citizens. They had a little breakout in the school a couple of days ago. So we need to make sure we're doing everything that we should as leaders to help the citizens. So I know Betty's gonna get on it.
Yeah, I've got it down.
She got it down. Okay,
All done, Mr. Long?
that's it.
Mr. Brand?
I've got one thing in, for the 2022 projects, what are we doing about the drip irrigation system?
That's something that actually I've been discussing with the Assistant County Administrator, trying to look at some options there, and we will need to be in touch with the school on those.
Okay,
But we haven't forgotten it.
okay. That's all I got.
One other thing, Mr. Pack, box testing, do we have availability in the county, you know? Box testing.
I mean, the COVID test.
COVID testing.
COVID testing?
Uh-huh.
Yes, so basically Three Rivers Health District has taken over all the testing
Right.
for the citizens. And they are breaking it out by the district. So they're a district of 10 counties. So each week, every Wednesday, they always have it at their main office in Middlesex. From, I can't remember exactly the time. But then each week they pick a different county to go to either 1 or 2 days.
Okay, now, in some county, they have testing where people, box testing, when people stick what
The
individual.
pods.
Pods, right.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. That's it. Some of your bigger localities are doing some pod testing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Tom?
I've understood there's a possibility, and Mr. Tadlock would check on it, but I've understood there's a possibility of a testing here in Northumberland County next week, but I don't see anything published on it yet. I heard this at a meeting, and that's why I heard that. But the other thing is, starting Saturday, this coming Saturday, insurance companies will be covering the at-home testing. So that's the possibility. My other comment I had is, could Mr. Tadlock, you check with VDOT to find out about when they might fix that problem on 360 as you're coming into Burgess where the barrels are, you know, but the eroding there, because they were thinking about by fall, but they certainly didn't do it this fall.
I'll check with him.
Well, I don't want to see that part of the road go down.
Mm-hmm.
They've had barrels out there for what, running 4 or 5 months at least. So that's all I have.
All right, Mr. Jet, you have anything?
It's just, I guess, the VDOT, I've tried to call them, couldn't get in touch with them, it's a pothole right on 360, right from the Union Bank and Lee and Lumber Company. I think you said it was one at the stoplight too,
Right
right?
at stoplight there, when you're coming from, Kilmarnock Way, make a left on 360. You keep hitting that hole in there. It's sort of wide. You get a good bump in there.
I'm glad you brought that up. This was a big pothole down on Hall Neck Road. What's the road that connects that?
What a view.
Uh,
Valley. Sidney's Mill Pond.
Down by Galilee Church, Galilee United Methodist Church, big pothole.
That's Valley or Sidner's.
All right. Anyone else have anything else? All right. The next item is the approval of the check register. Has everyone had a chance to review the check register?
Yeah, I move to approve.
All right. I'll put a second on that. We got a motion, a second to approve.
I got one question. I didn't see any checks for the county-based volunteer rescue squad.
We have that information. We will get that, those quarterly checks.
I wasn't sure. I saw all the fire departments in Kilmarnock.
No, we are working on it.
Just want to make sure in case somebody asks me. Which would never happen.
All right. Any other comments on that check register? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we have that's all of our items on the agenda tonight. Now we're to the public comment period. Anyone in the public tonight would like to speak on any item? Please come up to the microphone and speak.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Legary. I live on Chambers Lane in Lotsburg. And I've sent emails to board members and spoken with several people about broadband. From what I understand, there's a large influx of money in the state of Virginia to expand broadband. Being that I didn't realize that 50% of Virginians do not have access to broadband. Anyway, I believe I've spoken with Mr. Tadlock, and I might have spoken with Mr. Brand.
Email.
Yes, and I have copies of the letter here, if I could pass those out. If they could be passed around. To the members. Chambers Lane is the first left off Little Cedar Road.
You had a tornado there recently.
Correct, Miss Nita Corbin.
Yep.
The earlier discussed Atlanta broadband runs a line down that street halfway down the road. It stops at the Mitchell Wiggins house, which is the last brick house on the right. It doesn't go any further. So I've spoken with David Fine and other people and a fellow named Reginald Spivey with Atlanta Broadband. And the best that I've been able to get as far as an answer to when we might have better access to broadband is $47,000. And they'll run it down the road.
Can I ask, without disrespect you anyway, if you could remove your mask?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
If you're okay with that, if you're comfortable.
Yeah. I saw on the door that was managed.
Okay, you're fine.
So what I don't want to be a pest or be chasing the wrong people, but I just wanted to find out who I might be able to discuss this with to find out what's going on and what can be done. There's several, like I said, the broadband runs halfway down the road. David Fine had a situation down there in Melrose, similar situation. He was able to talk someone into running it down the rest of the Melrose. As a sort of an oversight that they just didn't seem to run it down the rest of the road. David Fine has since then withdrawn from, I guess it was a committee appointed for the area, and he has since withdrawn. So I don't know who else to talk to. But we have several people down Chambers Lane that, my wife, for example, she teaches online. She teaches at Rappahannock Community College. She writes curriculum for VCU. And she actually tutors middle school students at a public school in Denver, Colorado. All this is done online with an iPhone hotspot. which doesn't work very well. Things freeze up. But to come up with $47,000 as a neighborhood to get it down there and then pay a monthly bill, it's kind of crazy. But knowing that there is an influx of money that we would think may cover that, and we know it's got to take some time. This stuff takes a while to roll out. But just some input into who I might talk to. The squeaky wheel gets greased.
So from the last house you're talking about on the right at Chambers
Correct.
to the end of Chambers is probably about an eighth of a mile, quarter mile, maybe eight. And they want $47,000.
Yes.
And
Now
it's about 6 homes back in now, right?
Half a dozen, myself, the Fox family, Pat and David Fox, D. David and Company. I know they do commercial stuff online. That she pays a lot for what she's got for a hotspot. It's a hotspot. And then there's Mr. Haney, the attorney, at the end. And then there are 2 attorneys in the other house across from them. And the Hedges, Mr. Hedges recently passed. They just sold their house. And there's a couple moving from Northern Virginia to that house. So yeah, about a half a dozen families. But you know, commercially and educationally for the services that these people provide to the community, I would think it would be, I could stress that we might be able to get that type of service or something.
How many homes are served by the existing line? Or how many houses does it pass?
At least that many.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 in front of Nita, I think 1 in front of Nita Corbin, and then there's 4 or 5 more after.
So the number of people currently being served is comparable to the numbers who aren't being served.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And I know Blake Coward paid to have it run up on Mount Zion.
Yeah.
He paid the fee to have it run from a road
From 360 or Chambers?
off of Chambers.
Directly from the fold from the Mitchell house. They ran it from there up to the house, and from what I understand, it was $7,000. Yeah, out of pocket. That's through the cornfield. Yeah.
Not everybody can afford it.
No.
That's entirely too much money,
We're
way too much money. We're in the process right now of trying to negotiate a new franchise agreement with Atlantic Broadband.
okay.
I don't know how well that's gonna go.
Mhm.
Probably. But, any input from any citizen out here that wants in on that, would be greatly appreciated. You'll send all your emails to us. And that will give us something else to fall back on.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to comment on anything tonight?
Yes, sir. Just thinking and following up on this citizen's talk about the broadband, just want to throw out, I respect and appreciate all the work you guys do.
Would you state your name and all for the record, please?
All right, I'm Richard Kwasinski, 105 Hideaway Lane off of Clarktown Road here. And just wanted to follow up because I did realize and found out from Richard that you guys were going to be looking at and renewing this franchise agreement. And one of the things I want to point out, just drop as a food for thought, is the fact that not only does that franchise help a lot of people, but also it can hurt other people. And we have a tendency to forget that. A really good example is we brought Atlantic Broadband brought fiber optic into Bay Quarter Shores. Well, all of a sudden, the people in Bay Quarter Shores, they really got a good boost from that. And that was great. And the county certainly got a benefit, which I appreciate from you guys, in that the municipal buildings, the library, the school got this high-speed access. Meanwhile, there was a tower from Virginia Broadband on the property of Bay Quarter Shores. Well, now that the fiber optic was in there, they lost all their subscribers to that tower that Virginia Broadband had. So they shut down that tower. So now all of a sudden, the people that are very close over on Clarktown Road, Pine Point, all of a sudden lost the possibility of using Virginia Broadband. So I just wanted to point out to everybody that as we're negotiating this franchise agreement, it's a matter of not particular cases, you know, what are we going to do for this guy?
Right.
But as a county as a whole, how can everybody benefit from it? One interesting thing, and I'll end my story, when they were negotiating the contract for cable years ago to come into Fairfax County, they realized, well, this is going to benefit a lot of the people, but not everybody could take advantage of it. So what are we going to do about the people that also have public domain, that airspace that the wires run on? How can we help them? And what they ended up doing was they, in that agreement, 1% of the gross from that cable company had to go toward public access. So I'm just trying to throw that out to you, as you do have leverage with these people, that you can put them in the situation that, yes, you can continue your business, make a lot of profit, but at the same time, you have to subsidize from that profit to help other people that are in this situation. And with that, I'm finished. Thank you. Good.
Thank you. Good point. Anyone else tonight like to comment? Anyone in the virtual world like to comment tonight? Anyone in the virtual world like to comment? All right. No one else wants to comment. I'm going to close the public comment period. We'll move on to our next item. Let's see, we need a motion to go into closed meeting.
You don't have mine up to 7 o'clock, do you want to go ahead and close the meeting now?
I do have a couple other items we
Okay.
could go ahead and discuss before
Okay.
the other.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we moved in closed meeting. Section, Information Act, Section 2.2-3711A1 for the discussion and consideration of personnel matters. And second category is Section 2.2-3711A3 for discussion of consideration of potential acquisition of real property for public purposes or the potential disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
All right, do I have a second to that?
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming tonight. And we're gonna go into closed meeting here. Are we gonna stay here or are we going? You're welcome to stay here tonight till we come back.
We're gonna stand here.
Don't recommend it.
We got all
What's your choice?
information for a meeting down here to do interviews.
For your.
Wherever Mr. Tadlock wants us to go.
If you're gonna come back and do any action, you're gonna have to somehow keep electronically
Yeah.
on.
I do have tables set up over there, so I don't, if you want to take your laptop with you over there.
Take your laptop.
For what? Oh. We could go over there.
Being certified by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting act. Virginia Freedom of Information Act, as were identified in the motion convening closed meeting, were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
All right, second.
Hmm?
All right, Jim?
Jim?
Jimmy? Tommy?
Aye.
Aye.
What we talked about earlier, did you?
See what I tell you?
He's proving it though.
All right. Now, gotta take action on whatever we discussed in there, so who's gonna make a motion?
Quite concerned for the young lady. That's what you're talking about.
Starting salary 42.5.
42.5. For.
So your motion is to hire
For 40.
Morgan Kelly Wilson, starting salary of 42.5.
Yes.
Second. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. But any other business we need to take care of? Mr. Tadlock, you got anything else?
I do not, no, sir.
All right,
Just real quick, I did forward the bid documents to the board members.
yeah, we saw them. All right, if we don't have anything else, and Dana doesn't have anything else to keep us out tonight, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Before I say that, I would like to thank Dana for her many years of service to this county, this board.
Yeah.
I'll still be here in February.
Okay.
We really do appreciate you.
We're still gonna come all the meeting on Thursday night?
You know what?
That's right.
That's right. All right, got a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.